understand that literacy and ethics are very important. We have to make AI very common. AI was there from the long time. It's not like something new coming up. It's same programming, same algorithms, but the way it's changing the future, the leaders or the common person like us, we need to think about it in a different way.
What was the idea that, sparked the leadership for innovation and AI?
Working on the leadership role when I was, I can see what's going to spark in the future because even I can't predict. But yes, we can see that things are changing and very drastic change coming up. So AI is the main terminology that's popping up in everyone's mind. Daily morning, you wake up and you are looking up, and the new things are coming. Working on and with the curiosity, thinking and learning the new solutions that are coming up. So I started learning on those things, and I am implementing that in our schools with these students or the teachers, and listening to their stories or giving them empowerment. This is something inspirational, and nothing can replace this feeling.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the mainstream. We are back with another episode of our live series, and today we have with us a true Wonder Woman in the tech and education sector, Miss Alveena Abrar. She needs no introduction because her remarkable contribution in the tech and education sector are well known, but I will still take this opportunity to share a few things about her. With nearly 15 years of experience in the education sector, Alvina brings a wealth of experience as an educator, consultant, and as an innovator. She's worked across the UAE to integrate AI into schools, optimize school management systems, and create a forward thinking approach when it comes to curriculums that prepare students for the future. Her passion for education goes beyond the classroom. She is a skilled public speaker, a data driven leader, and deeply committed to helping schools and educators thrive. Alvina has been at the forefront of many initiatives that bridges gap between technology and learning. And today we cannot wait to know more about her journey and her insights. Alvina, thank you once again for joining us and agreeing to do this with us.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you too. And with that, I would like to understand about your journey first. More than a decade of experience being a tech leader and being a leader in the education sector as well. Can you tell us a bit about this remarkable journey?
Sure. But before I enter and share my experience, how the things are or what I have done so far, I would like to share why I entered in the education sector. Because as a student, I was feeling like things need to be changed and education system needs to be changed. I was always against with one person coming, standing, and just sharing the information, just one way learning. So I wanted to make sure that change happens. And to make the changes, it's better to enter in the field and do the changes. So I started as a teacher and developing the things, and then started training the teachers how to be different and engage the students with the real life, the problems, and then enter to the AI and different STEM learning and innovation.
Wonderful. And along the lines, Alvina, you focus highly on integrating AI with education. I would love to know from you, where did this inspiration stem from and what was the idea behind it?
Okay, so the term AI is on the boom right now. So instead of just talking about the AI, I'll take you back to 10 years back. At that moment, the terminology that was being used was innovation. We were all listening about the innovation in the education sector, and more of the discussions and things we're working on. Then after that 5 years, the more boom was on the STEM learning. So how I got involved with it is, as I'm a programmer, like I have a degree of IT. So for sure, I was supposed to, use these skills in the education sector when I'm talking about teaching and training. While working on these things, I always believed that keeping yourself updated was very important. So when I was keeping myself updated with one of the most renowned curriculums, or talking about the people who were bringing the change in the education sector, I was keeping an eye on that, and I thought like it's important for myself to be updated in order to update my teachers and students. So that's how I started working on the AI, and we actually started doing the practice of AI curriculum or the teaching and learning in our schools back in 2020 when the COVID was on the boom. That was the ideal time for us to work on. So that's how we started working on AI curriculums. And from last 1 or 2 years, I was very much motivated with the Finland's their curriculum or their pedagogy of learning. I started working with one of the Finland company, and our core focus is on AI curriculum, like how we can make AI literacy in the schools, just like the way we are studying English, maths, and science, that we are talking about alphabets and numbers and the concepts. So I started working with them on the AI curriculum, making sure that the students are having the ethics of AI and the literacy of AI to make it very common, just like having it mandatory to be have maths, English, and science. So that's how, from my curiosity to involving one of the best education field like a country like Finland, this all started coming up to Middle East, and now we are moving forward for the other countries as well.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing this inspiration with all of us today. And certainly, Alveena, it's very interesting to know, like you coined the term AI literacy. I think, right from students to teachers, we all need to have that awareness about AI ethically as well.
So that's true. That's something very important. As I mentioned, that literacy and ethics are very important. We have to make AI very common. AI was there from the long time. It's not like something new coming up. It's same programming, same algorithms. But the way it's changing the future, the leaders or the common person like us, we need to think about it in a different way. And I'm really thankful to your team as well that you guys are coming and talking about it and sharing the awareness to the people as well. That it's something that's coming up and we need to be awake because it's changing. It's having the change very quickly. So it's important to share the awareness also.
Absolutely. And thank you to you as well, because it's because of leaders like you that we have this motivation to keep this dialogue up and running. So thank you once again for joining us today. We would like to know more about, you've always been a leader in education and you've always been combining AI with learning. So, how did this inspiration stem from? What was the idea that, sparked the leadership for innovation and AI?
As in the introduction, you already mentioned that I was having a long-term experience. So from that experience, one thing that I learned, it's very important for the leaders to be trained and well aware what's coming up in the future. Not just the current situation. It's all about thinking, ahead of time and planning things. What's going to be happening for next 10 or 15 years. So, working on the leadership role, when I was, I can see what's going to spark in the future because even I can't predict. But yes, we can see that things are changing and very drastic change coming up. So, AI is the main terminology that's popping up in everyone's mind. Daily morning, you will wake up and you are looking up, and the new things are coming. Working on and with the curiosity, thinking, and learning the new solutions that are coming up. So I started learning on those things, and I am implementing that in our schools and working with different countries with those schools who would like to learn more about it and training the leaders. That's the most important thing, because until unless your leaders are not well aware what's the future is going to bring, you cannot apply on the ground level.
Fantastic. And along the lines, like you said, learning has always been, a big inspiration for you. And you also focus on curriculum innovation. So I want to understand from you, when it comes to keeping the students, the curriculum relevant in today's digital era, how do you work on that?
All right. So, as you know, Dubai market is very fast, especially in the education sector. We have a framework that's designed by the ministry. We have to make sure that we are aligned with it, and we are bringing something new. It's not like 10 years or 5 years back, whatever is given to us. We are just going with those books and just following that. Here comes my job. I keep myself updated, and when we are working with the schools, school leaders, we make sure that whatever software, especially if I'm talking about the IT field, whatever is coming up in the market or might be demanded in the future, we make sure that these skills are given to the students. So currently, I hope you know about the Finland education. Like everyone's dream is about like learn from there. I got the chance to work with the Finland team and working with them and especially working on AI curriculum. And they are applying that, and we are training our students and teachers in UAE and applying these AI curriculum here, and bringing those core pedagogical thinking about AI and programming, where the students are not just learning how to use those chat GPT or other open source forms, but they are learning how to create their own resources. So this is how I'm working on the AI curriculum these days, and what we are working more focused is training the teachers. So once your teachers are well trained, automatically they will give the leverage to the students. They will be not restricted of just following ABC instead of just their own alphabets and words and making something new out of it.
Great, great. And thank you once again for answering that. And going back to what you just said, there has to be a certain level of framework that you need to check, keep in check when it comes to revising a curriculum or even working on the curriculum.
Yeah.
You have extensively worked with the KHTA framework and the school inspections as well. Could you share something about any practical strategy that you adopt?
One very important thing is just not going with the paperwork, like just for the sake of the guest coming up and you just show a beautiful document and like, okay, these checks are done. What I have experienced or what I motivate every schools to do is work on the student outcomes. Checks are done just on the paper. Student outcome is very important. Give them skills, give them opportunity to come up and solve the real life problems, because once the inspection team or the framework they are coming and checking up, they are very well trained people. They can judge what's being dramatic or what's actually running in the classes. So instead of just training them or training your students or teachers to come up with a nice beautiful flower decorated lesson plans and the classroom work on that week, make that as a usual practice and apply these innovative skills where you can empower students more than the teachers standing. In our time, when the teachers used to just stand up and just come up and teach and deliver, it was just one way, but now it's very different. And students, as we know, their focus, the time span is very less now, so the teachers need to focus on more that whatever is done, it should be centered, not just the teacher centered. Because once these inspectors enter in your class, they can judge, they can smell within few seconds what's actually happening around.
Rightly said so. And Alveena, I personally have a question for you. Today, STEM education is the big buzzword when it comes to, schools across the globe. A lot of
True.
schools, rather the entire education system, they are thriving to empower students at a very big level. What is your take when it comes to the entire, adoption of STEM education for that matter in today's classrooms?
Okay, it will be a bit controversial, I'll say, because as you're 100% right, the STEM term and this word is buzzing around everyone. I believe in 2016 or 15, when I was implementing that in our school with beautiful Legos and robotic kits, and so that are more fancy with the VRs and these tools that, okay, we can see that we are teaching the students. So there are two things. There are some schools they're actually using them to empower the students in the classroom, and some schools they are just using to showcase the beautiful product that they have. So everyone needs to understand that STEM term is not something to just showcase. It's all about empowering your students with a real life skill. The idea or the concept that actually came up was to have one systematic curriculum where all the schools, all the subjects are aligned with each other, and whenever we are teaching about maths, English, science, or any technical terminologies, they all are aligned with one mega project, and the students are not having different things to do it. Imagine if I'm going to ask you, okay, you have to drive, you have to cook, you have to give your live sessions together. What will be your output? Can you give the 100%? So why don't we think from the student's point of view as well? How can they work on different projects when we all are looking for the one same result? So I'll just give you an example how I did it in our school, and that was the best practice. We all have a meeting, term meetings with the head of subjects, and we sit together and we align that, okay, each term for these subjects, they all have to work together instead of like different projects coming up, like 3D printers the students were working on. Then science teachers bio, they have asked the students to create the skin cells, and they printed out of it, and then they were giving English literature, they were giving the speech or giving the presentation. So how gave the output? even for the Python or the programming, we ask the students to come up with a creative idea or solve their mathematical or physics problem. So align the subjects together and then use the STEM technology together in a better way. Not just showing up with the robot and just having a once in a week class, telling that okay, the students are working on this time. This is a big, misunderstanding schools or the leaders have. So they need to correct that thing. Even for the parents, I can see they are registering their kids on the after school activities on different organization with the STEM name of the STEM, but actually it's not the STEM. It's just with the robotic skills with that specific kid they are getting. So this misunderstanding needs to be corrected, all over the globe.
Rightly said so. And thank you once again, Alveena, for being very elaborative on this. I have another question for you because you said parents do play a role when it comes to empowering education, especially with trends like STEM education.
Yeah.
We are living in the world of AI, and no matter how much we try to avoid, there has to be, kids these days or even students these days, they are continuously exposed to something or the other
Yeah.
on the internet. So how do you see this as an opportunity and as a challenge, especially now that we have tools like ChatGPT and the new DeepSeek? So, if you could just elaborate on that.
So before I elaborate, I have a question with you from you. Why did you use the sentence? How can we avoid? Why to avoid?
Uh, a lot of parents, when it comes to, perspective from a student teacher or a parent, they are the whole context of empowering students. Uh,
Yeah.
there is this dialogue of creativity being cut down, or there's no originality left, and I think it stems from education itself. So, how that is how I foresee it personally. So.
Okay, so if you ask me, I think I'm the one person who is pushing the students and the teachers to use it. It is very important to use, and like I believe, like last 1 or 2 months, whenever I'm going on the panels, the biggest discussion about this topic, and my point is why to avoid, and like what is the main reason, and how far you can avoid it. Instead of avoiding, why don't we teach them about the ethics? This should be the job. It's the similar example of why to bully someone or tell that GPT for your content or your sharing on the social media. Why? They're smart, they are better than you, that's why they are using, and for sure they are going to have a better future. Simple reason and simple point that I mentioned to the parents or the school leaders when I'm training them. It is similarly like a boom or the craze that was coming up when Google or YouTube was announced. People were rigid. They don't wanted to use the YouTube, or they were like, okay, why to use Google? It's not authentic, or it's something it's spoiling our students. We want to go with the books, like traditional way, highlighting and all that. What happened? Those who actually used, you can see a drastic change on their personality or their professional development. Or those who were rigid, they are stepping back right now, right? So similarly, instead of stopping our kids from internet, or the boom, like we are talking about the students or the kids, no, don't give them technology. Come on, you can't stop them. These kids are very smart and better than us. So instead of stopping these kids, I want parents and these teachers to get trained how to use these resources better, and to do a multiple task and learn about the right prompts, give them the ethics, give them the rules that they need to follow. For example, just we are talking about YouTube. Kids, they have the their hand, but we have told them these are the things you need to careful about, right? Because now we are aware about it. Similarly, we can do the same thing when we are talking about any chatbots, either it's DeepSeek, either it's ChatGPT. Instead of handing over to the kids, or if they are going to use it, why don't you use and learn about these ethics? So it's all about the awareness. That's what I'm talking like more and more on the panels, and I'm trying to do this. Until unless these noise are not going to the right ear, people will be scared, and it's going to spread. You can't stop it. It's spreading drastically. Once we are talking about the open source, every morning you will find out something more open-handed, just like DeepSeek when we saw all of a sudden it's coming up. So every morning you will find out something new coming. Getting
Absolutely.
worried or
And
trying to
because we
avoid,
come from a
schools
generation of,
should teach. Yeah, sorry.
absolutely. No, no. Just like you highlighted that we come from an era of, where if we wanted an answer, we would just go back to Google and, find the answers, or go back to our textbooks. But students these days, they have a lot of exposure to a lot of things and tools. So I think, like you said, a lot of opportunities can be explored. And along those lines, do you think it also comes with a shared responsibility, for that matter, to have some level of monitoring when it comes to these tools?
So the point is, it's better for the parents and teachers to work on with their own, capabilities and learns these tools, and do not try to avoid it. And as I was mentioning that, okay, I'm a mother of three kids. I can imagine, and but at the same time, I can see that I'm not able to give too much time to the kids at home. So it's like most of the time they're staying in the school, and these kids, they take whatever their teachers or their learning management team is talking about very seriously. So there should be workshops for the students as well, that what are the ethics of using these AI tools, what type of prompts they can use, or what type of things they should not search about. So these awareness should be done in the schools as well. Especially in UA market, we can see most of the serious discussions or the counseling sessions are done in the school itself, because we can see that most of the parents are busy at work. So from school, they take a lot. They take the things very seriously, even though I'm in the education sector. But when I'm trying to explain the things to my kids at home, they would prefer if the teacher is telling them. So they will trust that more, because it's all about like, okay, teacher is something that is it's an ideal figure for them. So educators should work on and train the students more and talk about more openly.
Lovely. And Alvina, you have so many roles, that you've played, or you're still continuing with them. You're a mother, you're an educator, and you've also been an innovator. Any key practices or any recommendations for educators these days, or even for those working for the entire institution, any when it comes to empowering students in today's age?
So, number one thing, even if there is a housewife or the person who's just staying home or any field, number one thing is keep studying. Whatever you feed your brain with, it works faster for you, or it works in a positive manner. So, one basic practice that I do is I do a small course, whatever's free or paid course happening around, to empower my own skill. So give at least 15 to 20 minutes minimum on learning a skill. That's one thing very important. Second thing, we all are using social media to, have our time pass or just to look something. So for me, if you see half of the day I'm on the LinkedIn, I follow good leaders, good educators that can motivate me. So I believe what you see or what you read, it impacts on you a lot. So read good books, or follow good leaders instead of other TikTokers or something. Spend time on something that's coming in the market. Either you like cooking or either you like something, other skills, but learn something new daily. Make a practice of just 15 to 20 minutes. Either it's a student, either it's a parent or teachers, and follow. Keep, make yourself aware about what's coming up in the future. That's something very important.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people can take, we all can take inspiration from this because the more and more interconnected we get, the more it comes with a shared responsibilities. And I think it works on all the ends. So thank you once again, Alveena, for this session. It's been truly, truly inspirational. And before we wrap up, I do have a small rapid fire plan for you. Are you ready?
100%. Let's go.
Let's go ahead. All right, my first question to you is your favorite educational tool or app right now?
There are multiple. Some are paid, some are free. But ChatGPT, I'm enjoying playing with it. But yes, be very careful. Don't use your original profile. Be very careful. Don't share personal information, and then you can play with it. So, and once you are talking about login, make sure that your Google Chrome or whatever you're logging in, that's also not the original information. So that's one thing very important.
Great. What's your go-to productivity hack?
I prioritize my work, and what is very important right now, either it's personal, professional, or family. I don't, my brain works with the timeline. So if something is taking more than 20 to 25 minutes for my focus, I avoid and I jump to the something that is more, prior to work. So this has actually helped me a lot. Even for my own, either I'm doing a shopping or I'm cooking, I put a timer, or either I'm just working on my assignments, I put a timer for 20 minutes, not more than that. I need to focus on something. If it's not prioritized, it should not take more than that time. So if you are going to block your timing, it will be well organized and it will be amazing.
Fantastic. What's the most rewarding part of your work, especially working with students and the whole education sector?
Learning, daily learning something amazing. Working with these future leaders, when I can see my little kids 15 years back when I was teaching them, and now they are working in something, big platforms they are working, and they are creating something new, and they are using the skills that we have given to them. This is something, actually motivates me. And working with these students or the teachers, and listening to their stories or giving them empowerment, this is something inspirational, and nothing can replace this feeling.
Lovely. And lastly, if you weren't in education, what other career space would you be in?
Okay, so this is something which I was always thinking, if I was not in the education sector, what I would do, I would be a chef. I
Okay.
love cooking. So I would be just having too much food or cooking, or applying these new beautiful culinary skills on my cooking.
Wonderful. And Alveena, thank you once again for throwing light on some key topics that we have discussed so far, and of course, being fun in the rapid fire session as well. While we conclude today's session, I definitely look forward to connecting with you once again.
Sure, it will be my pleasure. And thank you so much for having me, even though we had a technical issues. That shows the technical issues can happen anytime, but it's pleasure to be connected.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you too, and I will see you again, okay?